Hey, what's going on to all of my Taurus out there? So let's begin. Thank you so much for the 3,000 subscribers. Really appreciate it. Let's get this to 3,500. So you have the Ace of Swords, the Hierophant, the Devil, the King of Swords, Five of Cups, the Ace of Cups, Ten of Wands, the World, the Fool, and you have the Six of Swords. This little one here, my cat. Um, so the Hierophant represents Taurus, which means that you showed up in your own reading. Congratulations. The Ace of Swords, the Hierophant, and the Devil represent how a lot of you right now, alongside the Hierophant, a lot of you right now are actually fighting against yourselves to decide what type of approach you're going to have towards dating and just other people in general. Are you going to have the approach of the Hierophant, right? The holy individual, the sanctified individual, or are you going to have the person who is like this card suggests, the devil? And a lot of you Taurus may not have necessarily picked a side yet. And the thing is that you have the Ace of Swords, which represents a lot of you are ready to make a lot of you want to make a decision as to being one of these two things. But a lot of you Taurus may not necessarily know what position you want to take, because there are advantages. I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like there aren't advantages to either side. There's advantages to being like this, just as much as there's advantages and disadvantages as they are being like this. And as a result of this, you Taurus know that you're going to have to um, pay the price depending on the situation. Now, the King of Swords and the Five of Cups represent how this is a situation for you where the King of Swords is about deciding to, whatever decision you make, this is a very important step for you, and that the King of Swords represents you're really taking it seriously. You're really taking whatever kind of contemplation you're going through. And the reason why it's very important, Taurus, is because a lot of you will have essentially become light or dark magicians given a particular situation. So you may not necessarily call it that, but a lot of you Taurus will essentially become that, regardless of whether you're calling it that or not. But the thing is that the King of Swords represents you are taking it seriously. And then you have the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups now represents one thing's for sure, though, you do have a lot of inner turmoil when it comes to making that decision, because a lot of you Taurus really are lovers. A lot of you Taurus really do want to be loved and love other people, and you love very hard. Taurus is Taurus is the lover, right? Not in the tarot, but I mean, like, as far as the zodiac sign, they're considered the lovers, right? But at the same time, Taurus loves very hard, very intensely. They're the exact opposite sign of Scorpio. But at the same time, there's a dark side to Taurus where, you know, a lot of the love endeavors that Taurus gets isn't necessarily what the Taurus wants, or it doesn't last very long. So a lot of times people disrespect Taurus in the sense that Taurus may not necessarily get the credit that they deserve, even though Taurus try to be, right, quote unquote, good people or decent individuals. So the Five of Cups just represents just kind of paying attention to really what is going on, right? My brother's a Taurus, so I can speak for this on a first-hand account, observing my brother. And my brother, you know certain aspects in love don't necessarily turn out to be what he wanted it or what he intended it, but it still doesn't negate the fact that he's a decent individual, right? It's just that, that's kind of unfortunately what comes with being an earth sign. Because earth signs, regardless regardless of to who or to what, I don't think you Taurus really understand that Taurus does not traditionally have a very good stance when it comes to love, including Taurus. And Taurus is supposed to be known as the lover, right? The romantic, the most romantic of the three zodiac signs. Excuse me, of the three Earth zodiac signs, and even Taurus has more than their fair share of heartbreak. So the things that the Ace of Cups and the Ten of Wands is about, again, kind of leaving behind old self beliefs, because that's exactly what they were. They were belief systems, right? But, you know, they didn't really have a very long term sustainability. It was these old belief systems were just that. They were superstitions. Because a belief is a superstition, something that you don't really have any kind of experience with, any kind of an account with. You just, kind of um wanting it to work out. But a belief doesn't necessarily imply that you have any kind of control or responsibility over the outcome, or what's happening, right? In the middle or the interim. So the thing is that the Ten of Wands represents a lot of you Taurus walking away from your old belief systems of of love, and throwing it away in the trash can for something much more powerful, which is the world, a bigger concept of what your old belief system, of what you thought your old belief system was. Because the world is a big place. The, like most people don't know this. Most people don't notice, excuse me, but the earth actually expands and contrasts, meaning that it gets bigger sometimes, and then it actually gets smaller. I don't know if people actually knew that. The earth doesn't have a stationary size. It actually gets bigger and smaller. And it does it a lot more than you would think. That's the reason why it is that sometimes you'll look at the roads, and sometimes the roads will be bigger, right? Right? Just the sheer lane of the road will be bigger. Then on some days the roads would be smaller if you ever pay attention to it. And you'll be looking at it like, wow, what is going on? Taurus represents the earth, which we all happen to live in, right? That's correct. So you're sacrificing, or you're letting go this old perspective that is based upon superstition. And what did Stevie Wonder tell you? Stevie Wonder told you superstition isn't the way. That's my jam. But it comes from a real place, though, because Stevie Wonder is spiritual. A lot of people don't know that. But at the same time, and I could show it to you, but at the same time, that's what Stevie Wonder was talking about when Stevie Wonder was saying, right, that superstition is not the way. It means that you have to understand yourself and the world around you. That is very important. That is one of the most important things that is conducive to your failure or your success. And this is part of why the earth signs are very important. This is part of why Virgo is so very important, is because Virgo represents that understanding of the world around you. That's what Virgo affords itself time to. Virgo and Capricorn affords itself time to do so. So the thing is that The fool represents now again that letting go. Once you have let go of those superstitions and those belief systems, now you've got yourself into a situation, my dear Taurus, where a lot of you Taurus now understand the systems of how things work around you. Because what's more powerful, beliefs or systems? The answer is systems. You know, the way that the world is set up, and YouTube may be upset at me for this, but I don't want them to hit me on this. But the way that the world is set up, the way that the universe is set up, is based upon systems. The fact that the planets orbit around the sun, the planets turn as they are orbiting around the sun, right? The sun is not stationary in the universe. The sun is dragging the planets along in their motion, in their rotation into different parts of the universe. As the sun is actually moving, the planets is moving along with it. What am I trying to say about this? What I'm trying to say is once you've let go of those superstitions, you have a much greater understanding of yourself and the world that is around you. What does this have to do with anything, right? What does this have to do with love? Well, it has a lot to do with love. You Taurus are beginning to get a very good understanding of what fake individuals look like and the system that they do. And you're beginning to understand that a lot of fake people end up doing a lot of the same things, a lot of the similar things. And a lot of you Taurus will be saving yourself a lot of time and problems by paying attention to the systems that people do and then leaving them alone because you understand the games. First and foremost, you understand that there's games being played. Second of all, that alone right there makes it much more difficult for people to manipulate you. It's the fact that you are aware that games are being played. Um, Number two, and this is what the fool affords you because you're beginning to understand when people are playing games. You're beginning to become much more aware of it. And because of it, you have a much more relaxed approach to certain things because of it, due to the fact that a lot of you Taurus now see a greater, bigger picture. Taurus is not one of those zodiac signs that sees the bigger picture. Taurus is one of those, you Taurus are zodiac signs where you can be very much so caught up in a box, right? Taurus has a routine. Scorpio has a routine. Taurus and Scorpio are the exact opposites. So the two of you, um, you have a routine, is what I am saying. And because I was thinking about what to say, but you have a routine. And when you get yourself caught up in a routine, excuse me, you may not necessarily be open or aware to of what the world around you is going on. Sometimes you may not even be able to reconnect with yourself to understand that you may need a catalyst or something that will shock you or put you in a difficult or an uncomfortable situation to get yourself out of that comfortable situation to get you stronger. But then you have the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords here represents this being a situation for you where the next step for you is to understand that, excuse me, the next step for you, Taurus, is to understand that what you've got going on should be much more important and that you shouldn't be worried about the types of people who are playing games with you. You should be more worried about creating more healthy boundaries and at the same time, excuse me, being able to um, build with the people that want to build with you and forget about the people who play games with you and leave them alone, because really a lot of the suffering that you choose to do is really a choice, a lot of it. And that's this is part of what the devil represents. It represents that a lot of the pain and a lot of the strife that people go through is actually because most of it, I'm not saying all of it, but most of it is actually self-imposed based upon the choices and the attachment to those choices which is causing the problem. Now let's clarify the devil, because we just talked about it. I can honestly say that this is one of my best readings. You have the King of Wands. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I don't really have a favorite, but this is very powerful reading though. The King of Wands, the Chariot, the Nine of Swords, the Death card, which represents Scorpio, which is the exact opposite zodiac sign. So to clarify the devil, so the King of Wands and the Chariot represents this being a situation for you where, um, yes, those types of run-ins, right, with these arrogant people, the Chariot, it's time for you to slow down on that. It's time for you to actually slow down and pay attention to if to the character of these people. Are these people functional? Are these people good to be around? Excuse me. Are these people decent individuals? Slowing down and paying attention to it. The Nine of Swords and the Death card. The Nine of Swords and the Death card represents learning how to walk away from them, and at the same time learning how to receive closure from walking away, and by understanding that the difficulties is what you caused your own self. Now let's clarify the World card. Let's clarify the World. You have the to clarify the World, you have the Temperance, you have the Eight of Swords, Page of Wands, and the Strength. So this is a situation for you where, to clarify the World, you have the Temperance, which is, um this is more so about you gaining that form of enlightenment. But enlightenment can either go to your enlightenment can become false enlightenment, where it can go to your ego. So as much as you're learning, don't let it make you angry. You still have to get to this. What this card is saying is, you still have to get to a point where you've become peace. You've made peace with the certain dysfunctions of your past choices, or the past people that you were in a relationship with, because there still has to be a level of inner peace as well. It's my cat jumping up there on the windowsill. Don't worry, the window's closed. But and then the things that you have, the Eight of Swords, right? That represents, understand that a lot of these people can't really do anything to you unless you participate in it. And once you choose to not participate, this is what it is that they have. They can't really do anything else. And then you have the Page of Wands and the Strength. Okay? The Page of Wands and the Strength card represents you are ready to put this chapter of difficulty behind you, but the things that the Strength represents here, that you still have some tests that you need to pass, such as your inability to let go, your inability to stop being so loyal to people who obviously are not loyal to you, who don't take you seriously, right? People who don't take you seriously enough to at least try to be functional for themselves and for the relationship. And you still have to learn to let go of that. You also have to let go for trying to seek revenge, because the revenge is going to come out on a person that you happen to be dating. And that's not going to be a good thing, right? That's not going to be, I'll say that's not going to be the most beneficial thing for you. So um, that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. As of right now, I'm at 3,011 subscribers. Appreciate y'all, of course. I'm trying to get to 3,500. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever it is that I drop these videos. Peace.